Okay, it's the Moto G Stylus for 2024 now after a week of use, and I'm going to touch on the software update stuff again later in the video, but I don't want to harp on it because I want the general takeaway and the feeling that you get from this video to be a positive one, because overall, the entire package, I really like the Moto G Stylus. I think it's absolutely worth the money. I think it's a phone that if you've been thinking about, if you like something that's a little different, not necessarily offbeat, but you like something that's not a Pixel, not Samsung, you like Android, you like relatively stock Android, then this is something that you're going to want to pick up, especially when you consider things like the fact that this is going to be a carrier deal, a monster. T-Mobile, Metro PCS, all the way down the line, even AT&T, a lot of companies do fantastic deals on these Moto devices throughout the year, and the G Stylus is no different. I think people were already saying they picked it up on Metro PCS or whatever, like $200, maybe less with the deal. You know, there's so many things going on with this phone that I think at the end of the day, you're going to like it, especially given first of all, I love the 399. I love the 400. I love the compromises that Motorola made to get to that price point. I don't care about the fact that it doesn't have a metal display. I don't care about the fact that it doesn't have a glass back. In fact, I'm really coming to like these eco leather, I guess you can't call it vegan anymore or whatever, but eco leather backs on these devices. I like it. I feel like I don't need a case on it. I don't feel like it's going to break. If it falls, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. So I really like the build quality of the Moto G Stylus this year. And performance-wise, it's tough to beat. I'm really enjoying the Snapdragon 6 Gen 1. It does everything smoothly. It's able to keep the 120 hertz running well. Really no problems there. Light gaming is fine. Pokemon Go is fine. So you're really not going to get yourself in trouble. But even medium gaming, you're going to get decent settings in Call of Duty. So you're not going to be left behind gaming-wise, especially since it's a nice, big, gorgeous display. Really just gorgeous OLED display. Fantastic. I love the colors on it. I love the squared-off design, kind of giving you a Note-esque feeling. And I love the flat display. And I love that Note-esque feeling because when you give me the squared off design and you give me the flat display, that makes a perfect canvas for your stylus. And I love even though it's not a Bluetooth pen or any of that stuff, I love the functionality of the Moto stylus. And you see here the suite that we showed last time. I'll link the video at the end where we kind of went through the different functionalities that you get here, from writing a note all the way down to the calculator and the gift maker. It's nothing fancy, but it's just enough. I think a lot of times the S Pen on the S24 Ultra is overkill. Like, it does too many things. Like, nobody really uses the S Pen for a lot of those things. Maybe you do. You're sitting there, you're watching stuff remotely, and you're taking photos and stuff like that. And in however many years they've offered that functionality, I've done it once. I've taken one photo, a selfie with my wife. We were at a museum or something with the Note 9, where I took a selfie photo remotely, where I was kind of holding the stylus behind my back and kind of trying to get one time. And I'm 6 years now, 7 years now. So I like the fact that the stylus gives you stylus functionality. You could sign PDFs. You could have fun. You could mark up pictures. You could mark up documents, send them along. It does enough of what you'd need a pen to do without getting overly fancy. And then, of course, you're considering the price point at $300. Performance, excellent. Display, excellent. Overall, high marks there. So they didn't make compromises there, right? Pretty decent performance at this price range. I don't feel like it's compromised for $400, and the display punches a little bit above its weight. Battery life, really great as well. Love the fact that they've given Moto's done one thing. Moto, we're going to talk about some of the things they've done wrong. But if Moto's done one thing right in the last few years, it's been battery life on these devices. Phenomenal. Over 8 hours of screen on time without breaking a sweat. That's at 120 hertz. That's at the brightness most of the way up. Auto brightness off. Love the full brightness. It would, burn my retinas out. Love it. Great functionality. I got Bluetooth on. I'm testing a watch. I'm testing the TicWatch 5, the Mobvoi, the Enduro version of it. So I've had that going with this device all week long. No issues whatsoever. Really, really love the battery life. So, and that's that thing that we've talked about battery life to performance. It's good battery life, but yes, we've seen a lot of budget devices that could give you good battery life, but you wouldn't care because the performance is so poor. Not the case with the Moto G Stylus. Really good battery life paired with pretty darn good performance, especially when you're considering the price range. Camera, we're going to throw up the shots. This is something that I really was hoping for. I really wanted to see this. I was hoping we'd have a situation where the camera got me similar performance to the Motorola Edge from last year. And it did. So you're looking at this, good lighting shots are fine. And I'm actually surprised about the saturation, the colors, and the contrast, like really good images, roughly on par with what I got from the Edge. I was pleasantly surprised with those photos, and Moto's continued this along here. I like the fact that they've cut it down to 2 lenses. For far too long, Motorola was just throwing these 4 lenses on there, like the macro lens, all these just garbage lenses they were throwing on there that absolutely did nothing. It was literally just to say they had a 4-camera system or whatever else. Give me 2 lenses, make the main one pretty darn good, and I think 50 megapixel, give me the good one on the main shooter. Have it do something well, like it does. Have it do photography and good lighting well, and I'll be happy. That's what I want at this price range. I know I'm not getting Google's computational photography. I know I'm not getting a Samsung lens. I know I'm not getting iPhone photography or video. Give me something that's representative in good lighting, and I'm happy. Now, the flip side of that is what? At $500, $400 rather, low lighting, it falls apart. Colors get soft, bad, drab, no good. But I'm perfectly happy and almost surprised, pleasantly surprised, by the good lighting performance. And the days are long gone where we could just sit there and make fun of a Motorola camera just out of the box because it says Motorola on it. So now you can't really do that. Their main photos, the main cameras, the other ones are not so great. The main cameras they put on these give you a decent low light performance, and that's exactly what I'm asking for, especially at $400, and definitely if you get it on one of those carrier deals. Let's talk about software real quick, and we'll go over a couple different things that I harped on in the last video. Yes, 1 year support, or 1 year major upgrade of Android is sad, and 3 years of support is sad. And the amount of people who are arguing, well, I don't care, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand how people could argue for less. Other manufacturers are offering this in this price range. There's no reason why Motorola can't match. And the problem I have with Motorola specifically being lackluster on the support is they're not exactly, you can't exactly set your watch to Android upgrades and all the rest of it on Motorola devices. That's my problem. You're basically giving Motorola a license to take as much time as they please. Yes, are you guaranteed Android 15 on this device? Sure, that's your one upgrade. When will you get it? I don't know. Maybe next year, maybe the year after. Security updates are more than about security at this point. They're about optimizing devices. Companies use it as opportunities to make sure the devices are running well into the future. So it's not just purely about security, and it's not just purely about the number of updates that you're getting. If Motorola was like, they were going to a quartz watch, you could set the atomic clock to when they did their updates, I'd have less of a problem with this because I knew I was going to get the support. I knew they'd optimize the software well into the future. I don't have that faith now. That's the problem I have with the limited support on this device. So that's something to consider. I like my UX. I think I personally like the fresh coat of paint they put on it. Like I said, it feels like my UX has been the same for like 10 years. Moto Gesture's still here. No problem with that. I like the upgrades that they've made to the software. But always on display we need. It's a software thing. It's not a battery thing at this point. It doesn't cost Motorola that much to include it. I understand people are saying, I've had so many comments in the last video saying, who cares about an always on? I turn it off. Yes. Do you hear what you said? You turn it off. I would love that option. Give me the option to have it on or off. And what the disappointing part is, peak display, as awful as it is to use, could actually, if you just made peak display with the functionality you get with notifications and stuff like that on the lock screen, if you made that into an always-on display, you'd go from not having an always-on display to having one of the best always-on displays overnight. So why is that so difficult? So yes, do I have legitimate gripes about this phone? Absolutely. Are there things here that enthusiasts might walk away from because of that? Absolutely. But on the whole, if you're buying one of these, the experience you're going to get is a premium one. It is a nice one. This device is fantastic to hold in the hand. If you like a squared off design, you're going to love this. It feels premium enough with that eco leather back. The performance and the display that you're looking at 100% of the time is excellent. So overall, I give this certainly a buy rating, if you will, if I'm an analyst on Wall Street or something like that. But I like it overall. But there are some drawbacks. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.